second phase.
Okay. I do to me phase two.
There's many.
Okay. That's a kind of
If you have two different accounts, that's accounts.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. All right. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Africanna Radio. Yes, it's Crossfire time, and it's Wednesday, 21st June in the year of our Lord 2017. Hi. When the choir was that?
Only like
Already we are in June. I understand today is the longest day.
my daughter was asking me.
Yeah.
She said, "Daddy, why is it the longest day?" And I said, "Well, it's the hottest day as far as I'm concerned. It's the hottest day." Yeah. So why longest day? I've heard this before, and the explanation is something that I have forgotten what exactly why is it the longest day. They have a calculation that they do to
I think the sun rises for a long time.
a long time
Until the
so 10 o'clock.
blackness sets
10
in,
o'clock, you
so
still see that it's still
it's
light
still
out
like
there.
that, yeah.
Okay.
In fact, is it in Russia also on their particular day that they call the longest day? Is it Bielaya Nochi, White Night?
Okay.
It's
It stays on.
stays on through around 12,
Wow.
almost 12 midnight, but you still think it's just a daytime.
I
So
see.
yeah.
Wow.
So we have longer daytime, daylights than
Shorter nights, yeah.
than the shorter nights.
Right.
Yes. How are you, sir?
Well, I've not been feeling well recently. You can even hear from
Yes.
the way I
Yes,
sound.
yeah.
Yeah. It's on
You've
today
been
that
affected by it's a syndrome called, it's a weather syndrome.
with the syndrome.
Yeah, when the weather changes.
Okay, you may be right. Yeah, because
Weather not done also be a done. We are need that.
for the past week I've been very ill.
It's a weather
It's
syndrome.
only today that I've been able to talk. Yeah. And
It's
how
a
are you,
weather
sir?
syndrome. I'm also not too bad. Very well, by God's grace.
Right.
Maybe busy, but yes, we have to manage the time to fit in all activities that need to be attended to. Yes, listeners, welcome back to It's Crossfire Time. My co-host is still on his way coming. He had to attend a program somewhere very important and dear to his heart, so we give him the grace for him to get here in peace. hopefully he won't be long. He will join us. So in the meantime, Mr. D, the man himself, is stepping in for him, and we'll start with matters around the world. Yes, so that hopefully by the time we get to Ghana matters, Richard will be here. He is much more current than I am. I want to believe so, but I'll do my best. Yes, what's going on?
What's going on?
Queen's speech, eh?
You tell me, Queen's speech. Queen's speech. Something very unusual today.
What happened?
I
I haven't had a chance to watch it.
Right. I think he's here.
Okay. Mr. D says something very unusual happened today in the Queen's speech.
Yeah.
I don't know whether
Let me give you
it's got something to do with the delivery or to we just started, so you are okay.
No, I mean, something unusual started. It's a tradition.
All right.
It's a tradition that the Queen will be in the proper regalia.
Yes.
And there's a certain formality that takes place. But this time, it didn't take place. He wasn't in her regalia, and it was very formal. Very, very. Why? Because of this, Theresa May or the Conservative governing with this minority.
Yeah.
So as far as the system is concerned, the Parliament is not full.
Okay.
It's hanging.
What was that explained in the commentary, or is your own opinion that?
It was explained in the morning that it wouldn't be the proper formality
because
the Parliament is still hanging. They haven't got, there's no full majority.
Okay.
So the Parliament is still hanging. So Queen wouldn't be in her full regalia, and then the norm and the proper formality wouldn't be followed. And I say, well, this is you see, when we talk about our tradition, our tradition, but they also have their own tradition that they follow.
Yes. What is tradition, my brother? Tradition is like a ritual.
It's a ritual, yeah.
It's something you do over and over and over, and you stick to it. You become used to it. You get attached to it, and it's part of you, so you don't depart from it. So that is what it is. So, yes, everyone has got a tradition.
Oh.
Were you surprised?
I was surprised to see that, and I love that. I love that in the sense that, you see, you can tell the difference. You can tell that when you have a full majority government in place, they take full responsibility in the house. You see that, and then the Queen also goes there with a full authority, saying that this is my government.
Yeah. But now the Queen doesn't know what she's presenting.
What
in
he
the
says,
next day, it could collapse.
Exactly.
And I understand it's not likely to go through.
Yeah. The way the Queen was dressed had everything to do with it.
It had everything to do with the fact that
the position of the composition of Parliament.
Yeah.
If she has full majority, she is confident that yes, I have majority, so I dress majestically, pomposity. This time there must be what we call a somber mood, or so humble. You have to humble thyself because
anything.
You will go and present something, and then the whole thing will be thrown overboard.
Yeah, and it's good because they don't want to. See, they don't want to. What should I say? Destabilize the tradition, in the sense that if we have a full majority, like you said, he has authority going in, knowing that it's knowing that it's going to last for 5 years.
Yeah.
Well,
this is even for 2 years.
This is for 2 years.
I don't know.
This is for 2 years.
Yeah, just for 2 years.
Why is it 2 years?
Yeah.
Why is it 2 years? Is it because of the Brexit?
Well, they don't know what will happen after 2 years. We are in what we call too much uncertainty at the moment.
Well, I think the best thing for them to do. I'm so surprised that Theresa May is still standing. I thought she'd have resigned.
I agree with you. She's behaving. Sorry about that. She's behaving as if we want her to be in power.
No, what is happening is that right now she's worse than a lame duck president.
So why don't you go?
If you understand that term.
I do. Why don't you
but
go there?
they say no, we won't let you go. Do you get the point? They won't let her go because she caused all this. Now who caused them?
She caused them.
Thank you.
She caused them.
She caused
Yes,
all this.
yes,
I'm pretty
yes.
sure with her own little circle, she caused that. Because I quite remember some MPs came out, they were surprised. Her own members
Yeah.
of parliament, they were most conservatives were surprised at that
Yeah,
election, thinking it was not necessary.
Those are the ones outside the circle.
Yeah,
But
she
people
has a
like
little-
people like David Davids.
Mhm.
He is the engineer of the whole mess up
Ah, well.
because he advised Theresa May to go for this snap. Oh, yes. He said it.
No,
No, but at the end of the day, advice is an advice.
Well, somebody,
Remember?
exactly.
But
Somebody has to come out.
to me, the point is this: it feels like for stability reason, they don't want. They want us to feel, or the public to feel that everything is in control. You know, because the negotiation is to start. I think it's next week. Yeah,
It
the
started
Brexit
actually.
negotiation. All right, because it's already started. You know,
It
you
started
need
this
to
week.
form a government, and then hope that all the parties involved will come together for the sake of the negotiation and the Brexit. I mean, truly speaking, I was expecting Theresa May to resign the day after.
Who will take over?
And that's what I'm saying. Resign the day after, and then
Well, I mean,
you know,
the issue was that
the question. Who
the
to
issue
take
was
over?
that Theresa May. That's why from day one when she called this, I told you that I don't understand what is going on.
Yeah.
It's a very bad thing she's doing.
Yeah,
Because she didn't think about the interest of the nation.
that's right.
That was the main whole thing.
Right
now, this is the issue at stake: the interest of the nation.
Yeah.
It is not about even the Conservative Party.
Do
They
you-
have a lot of people.
Do you think if she had thought about the interest of the nation,
Yeah,
she
she
probably
wouldn't
would have
gone.
called for the election?
She wouldn't. But the point
but
was
when
that
it- but
no,
when-
when you think about the interest of the nation, then you don't want to take any risk at all
To jeopardize what
jeopardize
is
the
there
nation,
already.
the
You
national
see,
interest.
to me, right? To me, I feel like you remember, what's her name again? The Scottish
Nicola Sturgeon.
Nicola Sturgeon. The commander Nicola.
No,
Sturgeon.
nothing to do with that.
It has.
I say it
I know
has
people- it
nothing
has-
to do with it.
You see,
Okay.
why I will back Richard
So
Atkinson.
what's the point in
You
going
see-
for a snap
you see,
election? then?
but-
If you didn't-
I am saying that-
where I will
no.
back him up is
Uh-huh.
knowing that the Scottish people are calling for the referendum. That was a big headache on Theresa May's head. So what can she do to tell this woman that look, you are not having what you want? But meanwhile, she says that look, who the hell are you? I have been voted. I have been mandated, right, by the majority of Scottish people. So I am even more powerful. I'm even more people voted for me,
You see,
but not
No,
you.
you know where my mind is
So
going.
hold on.
The other thing,
I refuse
the other
to
thing
ask.
is, apart from
Uh-huh.
Theresa May not winning, if, for example, the way Nicola Sturgeon lost a lot of seats in Scotland,
These are the
and if
elections.
those seats, Conservatives have picked up those seats
Mhm.
along with some from Labour, we would be calling her a genius by now.
Yeah.
She would have been able
Yeah.
to.
No, but the point is that the point I was making, and I still want to make is this. I said she did not consider the national interest. She considered her
Of
own
course,
selfish interest.
yeah. I totally agree.
And
with
then
you.
some circles in the Conservative Party who thought that Labour is intact, so
Exactly.
we
Yeah.
let's smash
finish
them,
them.
let's kill them off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all said and done, you have to look at the other side and history, the immediate history that we have. Jeremy Corbyn, that man in particular, has been written off so many times within the period that he took up this leadership challenge, but he's still standing. Two, your own elections, the Conservative election that have got Theresa May to become Prime Minister. Brexit was not what everyone expected from the Conservative Party and the Labour Party and the majority of the country. But it turned around that people voted for Brexit. No one was expecting Conservative to have a majority in the last parliament, but it turns out that they had a majority.
That's right.
Okay? No one expected that when you go around the world, no one expected Donald Trump to win.
Yeah.
except me, but it turns out that he won. No one expected even, what do you call it, Marine Le Pen to get closer to become the second party, largest party, so to speak, in France. But look at where she is. So that tells you that with all this immediate happiness, you should pause and think that even if there is 1% chance that I will not get the majority, or I will not get, I will lose. If I lose, you see, the point is that if she had lost.
The question is, if she had asked that question, if I
think we have someone coming online.
The question is answered.
Oh yeah, okay.
The question that she could have asked herself is, what it is. What about if I lose? That question.
That is one question.
She failed to.
Good evening, Steve, and welcome to Crossfire.
Good evening, Mike.
How are you, sir? Long time no hear, no see, no talk to.
I've been waiting in action for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I hope everything is okay.
We went here last week.
We were, but
okay.
but Steve was not.
Right.
Anyway,
you were not here.
Yes, we started not long ago, but we are still talking about Theresa May. Now, the point I'm making here is that 1% chance that either she will not win, or she will win but will not get the majority. This position that she is in could have been easily predictable. She could have predicted it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That, look, here are the options available. You will win, but you won't get the majority. You will win with a reduced majority. What happens? Who are you going to form an alliance with? So they will do the permutations. Or you will lose, and then Labour will win, because Labour was the other alternative, and get a majority. In which case, we have a government. Do you get the point?
Yes,
so there is no risk there. So, but if you win and you don't get the majority that you want, and you are telling me that even prior to this election, you said you were struggling to push through your agenda. What if you don't get enough, like you find yourself in there? Are you telling me that they did not predict this outcome before they went to the election? That is my problem there. So that was the risk she took. And it was a very dangerous risk because she didn't think about the interest of the nation, knowing very well that Brexit, if Labour had won majority, no problem, Brexit will go ahead. They are going to negotiate. But here we are, we have a party that had the majority, had the support of Labour to trigger Article 50. Now, you are now begging the DUP. You know how much they want now? They want billions, not just 1 billion.
Why that?
Billions of pounds.
Why that?
Yes, but why not that?
Why not?
Your friend is saying
you're in a position.
You're in a position. If they don't do it now, when are they going to get it?
Trying to sell the democracy?
This is not selling democracy.
But why is it then?
They are valuable.
No.
Very,
to me, they're selling democracy. And I tell you what, if
brother,
wait a minute.
You seem to be living in the utopian world. Come down to reality.
Yeah. You see, it's like saying you have about 8 oranges. Yeah.
Yes.
You actually needed 10.
Yes.
And then somebody has 5.
Yes.
So it's 2 adding to your 10 to make you more powerful.
Yeah.
Without you get to the 2.
Wait a minute.
Without you get to the 2.
They don't stay outside the government, do they? They're part of the government.
It doesn't matter. No. But they have the experience of Lib Dems. Look at what happened to Nick Clegg.
Yeah.
Where is Nick Clegg now? He lost his seat, didn't he?
Yeah.
Good. He should have lost his seat last time. He was lucky. He scraped through. And they said, this time we will get you. Look at what happened to them. They were decimated. So these people have that at the back of their mind that if we are going into any alliance with any party in Westminster, then we have to make sure that we are seeking the interests of Ireland, because the Sinn Féin people, the Republicans, are also not happy with any deal. They say they don't want any deal with DUP in Westminster. Westminster must remain neutral.
Yeah.
And so they are trying to get this money to calm, the tensions of Sinn Féin. They are not asking for the money for themselves, but they're asking it for Ireland. So they will go back and say, look, yes, we came into government and we got this money for our Ireland. Now, once they agree to pay this money, Scotland will come in. Nicola Sturgeon, despite everything, she's still the third largest party in Westminster. She will also say, okay, if that is the case, I want more money. And they have a lot of money already. Wales will come in. And then
this is the
so
reason.
this is where
this is
where I'm saying that democracy is
this is where the reason why, to me, the best solution out of this is to have another election.
No, at this particular moment, it won't work. It's too early.
It's not. They have to.
But my brother, if they do have that, do you think we're going to have a full majority?
Oh, we will not. Conservative will disappear.
You don't.
Well, right now, people
are not
wait to knock off. But the man has been proving that he's right. Look at what is happening. That my man has
been, when they were going to Parliament.
Yes.
He was more like bare-chested, leading Theresa May, and then Theresa May started made an attempt to talk to him.
The question I ask is, if the Conservatives decide to pay that money that the DUP are demanded, whose pocket is it going to come from? Is it come from the
UK central government? The devolution system is said that every year they give them budgets. They run certain departments on their own, like say schools. They have their own school policy, local government policies, and all that in there. So people going to school in Scotland, they don't pay school fees, unit fees. They don't pay. It's free. Tuition fees free. Okay. NHS system is a bit different from
they pay less on that.
Okay. So for that reason, when they ask for more money, they can use that money to reduce their council tax bill, to reduce their social care, say thresholds that they're imposing in Britain, in England. They can say, oh, we're giving everyone. They can say winter fuel allowance, we won't scrap it for older people, we'll keep it. That's what is happening. Or they can do infrastructure development over there.
More or less, the English people get screwed, and then the others.
Well, let's not get into that place. Steve, we give you the last word on this matter, and then we move on to Ghana.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, we didn't even delve into the speech proper. But as for that, we leave that for another day because.
Myself, I've just got spoken to you about this. I wouldn't want to speak to the speech first.
Okay.
I don't have the full information. But I want to speak about the election. If you remember the week the election was on the Wednesday, we had a program. I was saying something that Labour didn't have any problem at all. After everybody has just decided it. So they should just go in and do whatever they want to do. They should just put in their life and see what happens. And see what happens at the election. So when you do that, you can have people around you who may just make you feel so awkward and so bad. But if you don't give up on yourself, there's nothing that you cannot do. So the outcome of the results of the election shows that once you don't give up on yourself, nobody can do anything to you. And at least now you can see how conservatives are really struggling to just put things together for themselves. And it tells us that if Labour at any other elections decide to put their house together, conservatives will be out. And I just don't, for now, I just can't even imagine how Theresa May is going to really govern this country, looking at how the elections went and even their own people have even started saying that no, we don't have confidence in her leading the nation into Brexit and all these issues. So I suspect there might be an early election along the line. For me, that's what I see.
Well, but I don't think they will call it now because they are worried if they call it now, they will lose. No one wants to call election and lose.
It's not them calling. If the
it can be triggered by another means.
If they are not able to form the speech, if the speech doesn't go through, then that's it. They have no choice. The government has collapsed.
Yeah. So the various parties in Westminster who push things that elections should come through. So for them alone, they wouldn't have done it.
Or there could be a conservative MP challenging a leadership contest.
Yeah, what is, you see, the point is this. If, say, this speech that the legislation that they put together now, presented, if they are not able to get it through Parliament this time, then it means the government has collapsed. So Labour must be given the opportunity to form a government. And if Labour can get a Queen's speech through, then they will go on. But then what will happen is that Labour will come on board, Because right now, if it collapses, is Theresa May going to be the next person standing again, or she has to step aside for them to have their own internal?
If there is leadership contest, she can either still put her name.
Well, one good thing with the Conservatives is that they are very quick in choosing a leader. They don't mess around like Labour. When they decide on it, they go very, very quick, and they just choose one person. That's what they do. So if you look at their history, they don't waste time at all in choosing a leader. It goes so quick. They set a timetable, pam, it's done.
Who do you think would be the ideal replacement for Theresa May?
Well, I think already they are saying that David Davis is an interim prime minister, actually. He's an interim prime minister. Theresa May is just a figurehead.
Oh, yeah, because of the Brexit.
He's an interim prime minister. Look at the way the man is carrying himself around. So confident, thinking that he is actually running things. And that is why the Chancellor is able to come out to say all the things he's saying. Trying to send message to him that do not go and negotiate any, dodgy deal over there, any dodgy president.
So do you think David Davis, advising Theresa May to call for this snap election, do you think there should be something really?
But he's done his calculation. That man has always wanted to be prime minister.
He almost won. He lost narrowly to David
Cameron. He's always wanted to be prime minister.
And he's an experienced politician too.
Yeah. Yes, Steve.
And he's in a comfortable league.
Steve, yeah.
For the snap election, I'm sure it was done by the conservative leadership. Theresa May just came to announce it. She wasn't the one who took that decision. So their top hierarchy sat down with all the information and data available to them. They said, looking at how Labour is always rejected now, you can just go through. And they didn't also foresee that.
They underestimated my man, you see.
That is it. Yeah, so it's not Theresa May who just woke up one morning to say that we are going to do election. They have thought of it. They have been looking around and they thought that this is the right time. Let's do it today. And then as soon as you finish, you go for summer holidays and come back and then come continue.
No, but what I don't understand, I would agree with Steve's analysis if Theresa May had actually come out to say that she was not the only one that made the decision.
No, actually, you see, the point is that
she's the one taking the blame.
Look,
and she's the one that's been made to look like a liar.
Let us go back to the speech she gave at 10 Downing Street. That speech when she was announcing this election, she said the main reason was because all the parties are threatening to sabotage Brexit. So she wants a united, strong. That is the reason. Okay, so if that is what you want, and now here you are, you don't have that, I think it's only fair that you step down and go for someone else to take over. But that person else who is taking over will also have to go for elections because he will also not have the majority. The same thing will apply. Gentlemen, let's move on to our motherland anyway. Yes. I read somewhere that Woyome is has been summoned to appear before the Supreme Court for oral examination. I think that is good news. I've been crying for this. It's long overdue. It's long overdue, and I want to thank the Attorney General for doing her job. Yes, it's long overdue. We must get to the conclusion of this matter. It must go to the end. Then we know that, yes, if he's going to take it, the law has taken its course. If we're going to get our money back, the law has taken its course. That is my submission on that. And it's all in line with judgment debts. Because, yes, sir.
Can I say something about this? What do you mean is fine? As we all know, it's really a problem issue. But we are looking at what do you issue with respect to the new administration. It's not that long. You see, because the previous administration was just dancing around the issue. And with the new administration, for them not to make any mistakes, so that when they go to court and then just ruling in its favor, they also need to take their time every whatever material they have been handed over to them.
Yeah.
And then also find more additional information that will make their case strong. Because as Wyoming doesn't go to the court alone, it goes to the lawyers, and the lawyers must be good for them to be defending such a huge amount of money. They are not going there to play. So sometimes, in as much as we are in a hurry to see our money being collected, we also have to be very careful so that we don't turn up.
But you see, this argument, I wouldn't accept that because the point is that an individual citizen, Martin Amidu, him alone, he took Wyoming on and got the Supreme Court to rule in his favor, in the nation's favor, to retrieve the money. Okay, so and when the previous Attorney General withdrew from, pursuing this what you call oral examination, Martin Amidu stepped in and he secured that judgment. So for me, it's like it's prepared. The thing is ready. Follow it. You can get information from Martin Amidu. You can get information from the Attorney General's department. So it's not a matter of rushing.
So long as Martin Amidu is the same lawyer who is leading the case, you can say it's prepared. But if you are transferring the same nice case from Martin Amidu to a different lawyer, that different lawyer needs to study the materials really, really well. Because Martin Amidu has done all the PPG work. But as soon as he gives it to you, you also have to sit down and prepare yourself. So you don't go and fumble in the court.
It's not about fumbling in court. Please. All we need to do at this stage is to discover assets that Wyoming has got and then seize them and all the links, all the people involved.
We have all of that.
Where is
it? They know.
You see, that judgment that we have to collect our money, that one is different. That one is there. Nobody is going against that one. But I'm talking of, they are looking for ways, because they are saying that one was a civil suit. They need to do a case in line with criminality.
No, Steve, I think you see, I disagree with that issue. A court of competent jurisdiction tried Wyoming. Okay?
They are going to get the money.
No, they tried Wyoming criminally for causing financial loss to the states, and he was acquitted. However, the Supreme Court had already given judgment in favor of the states that he should pay the money. So my concern is the money. I'm not concerned about Wyoming going to prison or going to wherever. That is waste of exercise. You said there's no two way, but the thing was not happening. Now I can see steps are being taken to get it done. So I'm happy with that.
With the new government, they need to do whatever they, because if an aspect of the case is still in court, I don't think the new government should rush. If you remember, NDP time they took so many people to court, but they were not able to win any of those cases. I'm telling you, some of them may have been guilty, but maybe because of cooperation and then rushing through the case. That's why those people were.
Steve.
No,
Steve,
actually,
Steve,
you know what?
Steve,
I think
all that the court, the new government or the Attorney General is doing is this. You recall that when the old administration of the Attorney General discontinued the case, and Martin Amidu went to court and secured the oral examination.
Yeah.
And then just before election, the case was adjourned, and until after the election, because they couldn't do it, the showdown couldn't happen. And then when the NPP government won, Martin Amidu decided that he was confident the NPP government would, the new or whoever takes over will be able to retrieve the money. So he decided to let it go for now and then leave it in the hands of the Attorney General.
Yeah.
Now, what the Attorney General has done is to go back to where Martin Amidu left off. Do the oral examination. Do the oral examination. But this time around, what's happened is, they've got access to everything, all the access that Wyoming has got.
Yeah.
It's kind of they put a sanction. What's it called again? What's the term that they use? They've frozen that asset. If it doesn't show up in court on the 29th, they have every right to start selling the assets off.
Okay. Including shares in so many other companies.
All those. And then I'm sure if you look at the rate very well, they've got a list of all the companies that Wyoming owes I can give you an example of them if you
So
want.
that is a sign that we have an attorney general or a government who is determined at all costs to get something for the state from Wyoming. And if it gets to a stage where he doesn't pay, then if it becomes a deliberate thing, I don't know what the law says regarding that. That if you're a civilian and you owe and you don't pay, yeah, but if it's not enough, can that turn into some kind of an offense, a criminal offense?
No,
that
they
can
get a court order. If they decide not to pay the money, they can pay a court order, and then the assets can be sold to defray the cost. It's there. It's part of our laws.
All right, that's good. So for me, I'm happy. Criminal matters in this, I don't want to know about criminal matters because he's already gone to court with that. They intentionally.
I'm also very interested in the criminal aspect of it because it was not just it was not just Wyoming. He didn't put a gun to somebody.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
He didn't put a gun to our head and then ask and then for us to give the money freely to him. He came in through the right means and somebody messed up and then he was able to get the money.
Okay.
That was unduly paid to him. As far as I'm concerned, we deal with the civil one first, and then we need to go into the criminal one. We can't just let it go. I mean, we've been talking about people have been talking about Wyoming. It's only what 51 million.
Yeah,
a lot more money has been lost in the past, but everybody is much particular about this one because of the manner in which this money was swindled from.
No, it is not just the manner. It is because of the fact that a court has declared that he should pay. The money was wrongfully paid, so he should pay it back. So the question is, it's not about if you can decide not to take him to court. But this time, someone, individual, a citizen, who is not in government, who hasn't got the government apparatus. Yeah. Yeah, Steve, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
We are getting a lot of feedback from your end.
Okay. Is it better now?
I think so, yeah. Okay. So someone who is not a citizen has managed to secure judgment for the nation. So it's inexcusable on the part of government and the enforcement agencies, Attorney General and all those, Yoko, whatever, to say that they don't know where the assets are. They don't know. For instance, this new created guy got some 400,000 Ghana cedis. I expect that by now this money should have been paid, and they should tell Ghanaians that whether he's still keeping this money or not, because it's from the fraudulent proceeds of Wyoming's money that he paid that money into the account. So the money must come back straight away. What work did he do for Wyoming? If it is a loan, has he paid it back to Wyoming? He should let us know. You follow the trail. Okay? So people like that, you can call them and question them and get that money back from them. Now, later on, if you want to pursue any, I'll give you the floor in a minute. If you want to pursue any criminal aspect, you see, the criminal aspect will mean bringing back people like Betty Moody Drisu, bring back people like Ebo Batinodro, bring back people like Nikwe Tete, Asumeni, all these guys involved. You have to bring them, even including the former finance minister, Kwamna Dufour. All of them must come to either testify for the prosecution or they must be prosecuted, which means they have to be evidence against them. Now, is the government ready now to go to that line? So, and as I speak to you, my brother, there are a lot more, triple what Wyoming collected or was paid in the system. Today alone, another judgment debt has been secured.
Steve, we're still getting a bit of a feedback from your end. Steve.
Okay, I'm checking it. Yeah, I'm checking it.
Yeah. Another judgment debt too came on board, and I never heard of this anyway until it came out that the Supreme Court has refused it. So they suppressed it. It never came out. Though the judgment debt was against the nation, $60 million.
Which one are you talking about?
The one Chatuchikata with the NIB one.
NIB one, yeah.
Did you ever hear of that man? That
no,
case?
I didn't.
No. So what happened? This is $60 million. But what they did was that because they knew that this was not going to be good on the heels of Wyoming's money. So they had to fight this money all the way secretly till the end. And they go to Supreme Court. Unfortunately, Supreme Court has now turned the whole thing around. That the NIB must not pay that money. National Insurance Investment Bank is for the nation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So imagine $16 million. Wyoming's one was about $32 million at the time. A whole lot of money, my brother. A whole lot of money. Steve.
Yeah.
You have the floor.
Yeah. As I was saying, I totally agree with you when it comes to criminal issues. Especially when it comes with this money that people, whether they do it intentionally, they can decide to tell us that they made a mistake or whatever.
Yeah.
But so long as we have recruited you to work for the nation and we are paying you every month, if you decide to sit there in the office and make mistakes for us to lose money, you should be punished for that. Because we didn't hire you to go and make mistakes. You can't just go to office and make such unnecessary mistakes, which is costing the nation billions of dollars and billions of cedis all the time. So I would be really looking forward that aside getting our money from Mogami, all the people who might have contributed to Mogami receiving that money should all be brought to court.
I agree with you. The only difficulty with that is that sometimes in cases like that, it's very difficult to prove beyond reasonable doubt because it's a criminal offense, isn't it? So proving, you don't need just probabilities of, but you need beyond reasonable doubt. And beyond reasonable doubt, it's quite difficult to.
Yeah. I can say fine, I agree with you that, especially when this happened under the different administration, they may have even done away with all the documents.
That is the point.
Your case and everything. However, if the nation takes a kind of a move that people get to know that this time around, if you make any mess, even if you are not put in jail, you will spend some considerable amount of the year or your time in court, going to court every day, every morning, adjourning case, going here up and down. It will put you on your toes and know that you cannot just mess up, thinking that that for Ghana, you go and sit before a public account committee and say that I'm sorry.
So what happens then? Talking about public accounts committee, we'll get to that bit in a moment. But what happened then is that perhaps, I don't know what the position of the law is at this particular moment. So let's say someone like Betty Moody, she was the Attorney General when these monies were paid, right? And she was heavily involved. And her culpability has been discussed several times in terms of... She signed the documents and all that. And now Supreme Court say it's illegal money. So she should have known that that money, that Wyoming didn't even have a contract. Okay, it was an international contract that was existing between Ghana and then Waterville, which didn't even go to Parliament. But yes, she didn't realize all that. Are we holding her negligence of her duty, or are we saying that because she signed the document? Okay, so causing financial. The point is that I will want a situation where we can recover some of the money from her. If we can't get all the money from Wyoming, from the look of things, if Wyoming's assets that we've garnished cannot pay off the money, where do we get the rest from? So if we can go to Betty Moo's property.
And when they are held to the court, at least Betty Moore, for being an attorney general to sign for that amount of money, she should have known best. So for her, after Betty Moore, we don't even need any proving beyond reasonable doubt. Because she appended her signature. What made her append that signature?
My brother, you see, she can tell you professional judgment. You see, when you give your professional judgment, it could be wrong. Professional judgment doesn't mean that it is the right judgment. Your professional judgment could be wrong.
So she will go to the court and defend herself if she wants.
And that is why I'm saying that it doesn't, you see, taking her to court is good symbolically. It means it sends a message out there to everyone that, look, You can't just come in and then mess about. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If the move is called to court, she'll be put in prison. Even Tatu, who sat down to write Ghana constitution, was he not put in prison? Unless they decide not to put them in prison, if they want to put the move in prison, when they take her to court, she'll be in prison. Tatu, he thought that he was the best of all the lawyers in Ghana. When he was put before the court, what happened to him? After the law, you can decide to make your own laws and talk about it when your party is in power, still around. But when another party also comes, they can also use the same law and put you behind bars.
Are you saying that they are going to change the law? They are going to massage the law
They are not changing the law because the law is being interpreted by people who ask and when they vote. So if when your party is in power, you interpret it to suit you. When another party is also in power, they also interpret it to suit them.
No, I don't think we have to be going that line.
No,
because it is not the parties to the suit who interpret the law. You only submit your arguments. It's the judges of the courts who do that. But the judges haven't changed, have they?
Pardon?
The judges are still the same judges over there. They haven't changed.
The judges are still the same judges. But it's interesting to know that the Ghana that people live there and work there and do everything. You need to go to the market and buy plantain. It's political. Plantain in the market is political. So you understand it.
Anyway, I wouldn't turn that line. I know what Steve is saying, but the thing for me is this: I'll be very disappointed in this government if they do not use the option of hauling all those guys that you mentioned to court. Because if you recall, when Wyoming case first came out, everyone was suspecting that when they were doing it, the trial for him, everybody was suspecting that the key players, the others who contributed in him getting that money, should have been hauled to court.
Yeah.
To answer certain things. It never happened under the old administration. So if a new one has come in, it's their duty to do that. You want to go after Wyoming, you get that money back, you seize his assets like you have done on the 29th of June, which is I think next week. We will know how that case is going to pan out. You deal with that one. When that is done, you don't leave the case there. You need to go after anyone who was complicit in him.
What has happened to the special prosecutor business?
Well, I hear the special prosecutor is coming in 6 months' time.
6 months' time.
Well, that's what the president said in the
UK. In the second, after the arrest, they are going to lay the bill discussions.
I really hope, at the moment, the new government is silent with a lot of these corruption that's going on, and I really hope that they are not panning their hopes on only the special prosecutor.
No.
Because if they are doing that, then it will be very sad. You are talking of independent special prosecutor. The question is, how many of them are going to be, put in charge? Is it going to be just one person? How many cases can that special prosecutor take? And how long is the case going to go? Because
we already have institutions that can do.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's talk about the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA. They've ordered this guy, Roland Agambire, to. In fact, he's wanted, according to the news report that I'm seeing here.
He's done the same thing as Ibrahim Muhammad's done, hasn't he?
Yeah. 14 million unpaid taxes from Ghana Web. And the GRA has declared him wanted over his taxes, 14 million. 14 million, it translates to how much in dollars?
Is he not that guy who did the laptops?
Yeah. All these Mahama cronies.
People are running over there. Because your party is in power, you just kill the nation.
So that's about $3.5 million. With just conservative calculations. So he hasn't paid his tax for 2 years. Now, what I don't understand is that, so for the past 2 years, the tax was not paid, and had there not been a change of government, do you think anything would have happened?
That same question. We had that same question about Ibrahim Muhammad.
So what happens is the same, is the GRA, have they changed him? The guy who allowed this to go on, what has happened to them? All these DRA officials.
No. There's a new the GRA. They made some changes. There's a new head. You know that. They have a new head.
Yeah.
New head being in VRA, so GRA, sorry, it's not an issue because that new head also has friends in NPP. So this particular thing that happened in NPP, it's likely that same thing may happen under NPP.
Yeah.
But you have also got the businessmen and all those things. So it's high time that our people, as a nation, we begin to change our minds. If we steal from the state, what do we get? And we still go about asking for money from some people. We need to just do what is expected of us because if you do your business, you pay your profit, pay the tax of it, and then the nation gets something to run on. You don't do it. So it's not about changing the head. It's about the people in the country having a mind to change your mind. Because the NPP president who is now there is going to do almost the same thing.
Yeah.
So that if a change of government comes, you hear all these news again. Our people are just so stupid when it comes to money.
We see, that is what I find strange with Ghanaians. If someone has stolen some dog or fowl or what do you call a goat on the street or even a pickpocket, my brother, they will beat him up and then take him to court. If we don't take it, they'll even lynch him or her. But this 14 million, $3.5 million is a lot of money that, because of this, some services that could save children will not be done. But we don't realize the enormity, the impact that this is having. We rather pick on this petty crimes and blow it out of proportion. I find it very strange. Now, it is the opposite in this Western world, you know. Seriously opposite. In the Western world, is the opposite completely. Because if you are saying you are a minister or you hold a position of responsibility of trust and you lie under oath or to a court, perjury, they take it so serious that you can steal some money on the streets, beat someone up, the judge will, or the magistrate will just tell you, oh, this is just a misdemeanor, minor offense, just go away with a fine. But perjury, you will go to jail. You will go to jail because they take it so serious. The impact of that lie that you are lying to the court, the effect it has on the whole society, the fabric of our democracy. And this is exactly what we are. The main problem in Ghana is money. Sika Uhia. People are suffering. And yet one person keeps taxes to himself, so just because he has his own, what do you call it, people in government.
Yep.
Steve, are you there?
No, it's gone. Oh, his line is gone.
I think his line is, yeah. You heard some, yeah. You know, this is the worry. How do we get over this? How do we get over? And this is where Mr. D mentioned something about civic education. We've been talking about it here, and then I know there is this fine gentleman, Kentinka, Mr. Oponchichiku. He's had a lot of, he's had programs on the station before. Yeah, and it's something that is so dear to him. He's been propagating it on another platform, and it's been taken on board. So perhaps civic education can help change, educate Ghanaians that, look, let's look out for the big fishes. Let's look out for the big crimes. Let's look out for the crimes that have got impact on all of us. Not when your brother steals your chaliwote or your mobile phone, you turn around and then beat him to death and you want to kill him. Not just because someone has slapped you, you want to, what do you call it, finish him off. Okay? Yes, we'll deal with that matter. But let us focus on these people because we should make it very unattractive for people to decide that, oh, I want to take government money or I want to do anything dubious, because when you do that, it will help. How do you make it unattractive? long prison sentence, taking all their properties, including friends who have received anything. Do you know that in this country, if you receive a gift in the United Kingdom, if you are given a gift, it's gift giving someone a gift comes under inheritance tax. Okay, so there is an amount, there's a threshold that you can give. If you give beyond that, say I've forgotten, I don't have those figures to mind. But if you give beyond that figure, say if the threshold is say you can give up to 100,000, no problem. But if you give beyond 100,000 to anybody,
you need to declare.
Apart from declaration, if you leave, you have to leave beyond 7 years. If after 7 years you are dead, you are not dead, then that's fine. You don't pay tax. But if you die within 7 years of making that what do you call a gift, the person who received the gift will pay tax, inheritance tax on it. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So I give you 200,000. The threshold is 100,000, but I've donated 200,000 to you as a gift. If I do not live beyond 7 years and I die within 7 years, either I will have to pay from my estate a tax on that gift I gave to you, which means the 100,000 portion, because 100,000 is a free allowance, isn't it? Up to you can give that free, no tax. So the remainder 100,000, I will pay tax at the prevailing rate of inheritance tax. Or if I live beyond 7 years, no problem. Or if I decide not to pay the tax, you that who received the gift, you should know that the taxman will come to you to claim the percentage, the rate on that 100,000. They don't joke with it. I am telling you, they do not joke with it. So you think, oh, I've won the lottery?
So I don't get it, because from what you're saying, it's like so to whose benefit is this kind of law? I mean, is it like a disincentive for people not to die, or what? If you stay alive for 7 years,
no,
then you don't get to pay.
There are inheritance tax laws in the country. People don't want to pay the inheritance tax. It's around 40%. So if you're a very rich person, you already pay tax at the highest rate, which is Labour is thinking of 50%. Currently, it's at I think 40% or 45%. So that highest rate, and then the inheritance tax rate too is there. You will be paying the highest rate, which is 40%. So when you die, 40% of your assets, okay, will be taxed. You will go to, they will give you the threshold that you can give as free. You can live for your period. I think it's around 500,000 free. The rest you have to pay money tax on. Now people don't want to leave their money till they die. So whilst they are alive now, they start giving their money out. So, oh my son, I'm giving you 1 million. You, I'm willing 2 million to you. Some even go to their grandchildren and will the access to their grandchildren and hold them in trust and all that. So they find other rules around the system. Now, in a way to combat that, government says, well, we don't mind if you can decide to give a gift, but we don't want you to, people to take advantage of that system and think, why do you want to give your son who is a small, your grandchild, who is just 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years old, 10 million gift for what? For what is he going to use the money for now? So clearly there is an intent that you want to hide that 10 million. You don't want to pay tax on it, knowing very well that you could die anytime soon. So they say they give you the benefit of the doubt. If you live within 7 years, after 7 years, if you are not dead, that gift is gone. Yes. But if you die within 7 years, you will pay.
I'll be interested to know how they set the 7 years.
Well, 7 years, remember that 7-year threshold is a very interesting one, isn't it? So many things in this country, 7 years.
I'm very interested to know how they set the 7-year threshold, because I still don't get it. You know, because if
hello, Steve, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. Okay. You let's not waste time there, but that was just an example that I was given as to how they take matters of finance serious, money matters, because it's the money that holds the country. We need the money to do this. You need the money to do that. You need the money to do that. So if you are going after all this looting and you are serious about it, you will recover something. Seriously, you will recover something. I can't see how these people can run away with their money. Wherever they've gone to, their money is in Ghana or yes, sir.
The problem we have in Ghana has always been like this. In one administration, there are people who always support them for everything that they do, good, bad, semi-good, semi-bad. And then the opposition will always have a view on everything that the party in government will do. So if we are all going to be truthful to ourselves, when the NDC was in government, we were bashing them left, right, center, forward, everything. And then everybody who supported NDC, especially our friend who used to be on the radio, on the program, will come and justify almost everything. Now these same people are now going to come back and say, oh, you said that they are looting, they're taking this money, they are doing that. And then everybody who is world-leading NDP member, they say, no, it didn't happen. There's no stolen money. So what happens is that we glorify our thieves. That's what I would put it. The people who we are giving the authority to manage our resources, when they are stealing from us, we will protect them.
But you see, Steve, that is the reason why some of us are still making these noises. That is why you are here. I think we started this noise making over a year ago, and we've been making the noise. And even under this government, the president himself, in his inaugural speech, said we should not be spectators, we should be citizens. So that is why anytime we see that things are not going well under his government. Remember last week, I was so furious with this Wayo meeting that the Attorney General cannot be sitting there telling us that we are waiting for special prosecutor. We must see some action happening. So I'm happy that maybe things were in the pipeline, we didn't know. But I think what they should be doing for us to know that they are working is that they should be putting this information out there for it to come out. Yeah. So that once people know.
The comment that I'm trying to make here is that we are the citizens of the nation. It's high time that we have to come to a point of realization that anybody that we vote for is somebody that we have recruited to look after something for us. They are not our boss. They are supposed to look after something.
And that is exactly what we are doing on Crossfire, Steve. That is exactly what we are doing. We will keep on doing that because the truth of the matter is that, you see, the ordinary man who just listens to the radio, there is, I don't know how the extent of the impact that has on him or her on the streets. But I'm hoping that the media, okay, and those who get access to sit on radio, television, newspaper, they will take that view because most of the time it is the information that we see in the media that we react to. If we don't have that information in the media, we wouldn't know. If Kennedy Agyepong hadn't come out to tell us that Wayume's money about Wayume, no one would have known that. If Kennedy Agyepong hadn't come out to tell us about Ibrahim Ahmed's money, no one would have known that. Okay? So this is the issue. We just need to constantly keep at it, make that noise, remind people, because we know the way Ghanaians are. We know the way Ghanaians are, irrespective of which party is in power. A Ghanaian is a Ghanaian. But unless,
Mike, I think it's high time that we, all Ghanaians, we put our country first. So much so that, fine, if I support NDC, and then if NDC, somebody in NDC does something, I'm not saying the whole of the NDC is doing it, but somebody in the NDC who maybe the minister or somebody somewhere, a district chief, does something, I should be able to say that no, this particular thing that the president is not good.
Then on that basis,
I won't go to the defense of that person.
Yes.
Because that is the problem we have in Ghana.
I agree with you. So let's start. See, if this charity they say begins at home, so we are going to start some exercise now. But before we go ahead, let me put out our numbers. Listeners, you are still tuned into Crossfire on Africanna Radio, and It's Wednesday as usual. The studio lines are open. You can call to join in to the program and express your views or your opinions. The number is 0122 3926 0122 3926 We have a WhatsApp line which you can also call, and that's 07473865402. 07473865402. The show is also being broadcast live on Facebook. You go to Africanna Radio Facebook page, you will find us there. We have Dominic Dumfest Facebook page, you'll find us there. Brutus Bay, thank you so much. You're watching us. And also the Dumfest Facebook page, you get us there. I think on my page, Mike Jones, you'll get us there as well. Have you shared, Richard? Yeah, Richard was not able to share. So yes, and also on the Africanna Radio YouTube channel, the program is being broadcast live. And then those of you who want to listen via radio on the internet, also you can get us on TuneIn Radio. Just type in Africanna Radio with one N and you'll pick us up there. Now, here is my question, Steve, and to you as well, Richard, in the studio. Just today, a news item came out that the Supreme Court has ordered National Insurance Bank, which is a state bank, not to pay
National Investment
Bank, sorry, not to pay $60 million, which I think it was an appeal that the government or the National Investment Bank took to courts, to the Supreme Court. They went to the appeal court and they lost. And the basis of the case, just for the sake of our listeners and viewers, is that a company out there secured the judgment debt. I can't quickly recall the name of the company. They secured the judgment debt in 2013. So this was under Mohammed's government. But the judgment debt started, the course of it was a contract way back in 2007, 2008, thereabouts, under President Kufuor's administration. And it came to 2013, and then they got a judgment debt of about, God knows, almost $60 million. Now, we never heard of this. A high court ruled that they should pay, National Investment Bank should pay this money. And they challenged it, they took it to the appeal court. And the appeal court said, no, yeah, you still have to pay. And they said, no, we won't pay. And they took it to the Supreme Court. And unfortunately, the Supreme Court said, yes, you are right that you didn't pay. You don't have to pay. Okay, so we don't know what will happen next, whether this other party will take the matter. But the point I want to raise is this, because I think this is more or less like a civil matter to some extent. Although National Investment Bank belongs to the nation, it was the bank versus that company directly that were dealing. The Attorney General was not involved here. I stand to be corrected. But we have the lawyer for National Investment Bank happened to be a very prominent NDC lawyer. That is Chatuchi Kata. So are we going to say that, do we commend him? Will you be happy to commend him for pushing the matter all the way to the Supreme Court and blocking that payment? Because indirectly, National Investment Bank belongs to the nation, and it would have been the nation of Ghana that is going to pay eventually. Steve?
Yeah. This one is a very simple issue as far as I'm concerned. I'll commend him.
Good.
The fact that he said, I'll commend Chachu for the work done. The fact that he sympathizes with the NDC doesn't mean that anything good that he does, we should overlook. And if at any point in time, if I'm talking about him, I will deal with him on case-by-case basis. He's a human being. There are some places that he will do very well, there are some places that he may not perform well. And you can't just sum all of them up and just say that he's a bad man. No, I don't think so. So as far as, and he knew the reason why he had to pursue the case up to the Supreme Court. So he's been following the case, and then in all circumstances, they lost. And he made appeals and upon appeals, and because he knew that maybe the judgment that they had been given at the time was not right.
Okay.
And then being a legal person, he thought that this one I need to fight it to wherever I need to go. So
but do you know something interesting about the case? The other parties I hear Mr. Kwan Pianim's name has been mentioned as a consultant to the case. Now, at the time he was being a consultant to the other party, he was in the good books of the NPP. Yeah, he's still in the good books of the NPP, isn't he? Yes.
Mike, you see some of these sometimes if you don't take care of it, you may get it wrong because, for example, Kwame is an economist. He's doing his work. That's the work that he does to feed on. So unless he has a principle that maybe because I'm an NDC person, I don't do job for NDC, or maybe
no, this is not job for NDC.
I don't do.
This is not job for NDC.
No, I understand. But the fact is, whether NDC or not NDC, the point is, he decides. He has his own principles and says, oh, maybe if there's a case against my ministry, I will not support you.
Yeah.
He can decide to do that.
And I am expecting our leaders, especially the elite in Ghana, to be doing that, because most of the time we hear cases where Ghanaians will front foreign companies and they will take them to Ghana, show them the tricks, lead them, pay bribes in the system, and then dupe the nation big time. As we speak,
but man, that's the statement I was making earlier. Now you need a change of mind as a people. Because
and what kind of punishment should be meted out to people who do that?
Pardon?
I say, don't you think people like that should be punished because they are serious, they are traitors? I'll see them as a.
But when I mentioned it earlier, you said that if it's criminal, you have to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. So what documents are you going to base on to say that this person did this beyond reasonable doubt?
So we need a new law. We need to explore the law. We need to put in place some new laws to make sure that if you are leading a company, a foreign company to Ghana, and it turns out that there is any fraudulent deal anywhere and a Ghanaian is involved, because it's very difficult. You see, what happens that look at the other case. There is some case that the government paid some judgment debts, and because even though the Supreme Court declared that it was a null and void contract, but the government had paid the money and they can't recover the money. I think is it the other one, Waterville.
Yeah.
Waterville.
I don't know if this
Isophoton.
During the NDC card, they said that some of the young deputy ministers, they were the people who were calling the company, telling them that come, you get the mandate, and then they will strike a deal with you. That if you get it, this will be my percentage.
Look at that.
This is even happening at the top of the political class. What wasn't happening anywhere else?
No, but if you have heard, like, if you've heard this information out there, and if it is true, we don't know, okay? It's an allegation, it's a rumor out there. If you, as an individual, no, like, as an individual, if you've heard this rumor out there, I want to believe that it's worth the investigation, the attention of the authorities, people like Yoko, to find out and see what went wrong there, how that came about. Because it can't be possible that you come into government. Okay, let's take someone like, you see, what I'm saying might sound like witch hunting, but if you are in government for 8 years, you are an MP, or you are just appointed a minister, they declare assets. The asset declaration form is there. That we see that your lifestyle and your assets that you have, based on our search, doesn't show that you could have accumulated this amount of money as an MP or as a minister within that 8-year period. You have to show us the business that this is not witch hunt, this is legitimate questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's simple.
Because in this country, you can't be earning maybe £1,000 a month, and then maybe at the end of the year, you go and buy a mansion.
A mansion. Someone will question you. Somebody will question. It's like all of a sudden you are sitting in Ghana, you are sitting here, and then your bank account is swelled up by, say, 200,000. The bank will call you and ask you where the money is coming from. They will ask you.
Maybe you are earning just £1,500 a month, and then at the end of the year, you have saved about 20,000. Once you put your annual income together, it's not even 18,000. How can you save 20,000?
So,
what other jobs do you do?
What do you do?
That is something we really need to look at, because until such a time that we start questioning questionable large sums of money in one's account. I mean, there isn't much.
It is
that fine.
mind-boggling. Yeah.
But the thing is, if we have to tackle such corrupt acts, I think government needs to be very, strict on the banks, for all banks to do their bits in terms.
That is why our next issue that we can talk about, the national ID cards. All right, I think it's an area that Steve you like so much. The new ID cards. I hear what's his name, Professor Atifua announced that. Is it Atifa or Atifua?
Atifa.
Yeah, he announced that this ID cards will be issued this year, somewhere in October. Yeah, and they were saying that they want all the banks to link up, so that because still in Ghana you can't use.
Everyone has to link.
You can't use if you have a Barclays ATM, you can only use it in Barclays. It's not cross usage.
Is it not? It is.
Is it?
It is. It is. Oh, you mean withdrawing money from the cash machine? I think it is.
Is it?
No, I think it is.
Don't think it's not.
It's not.
You can't use it on any other machine.
You have to use it only on Barclays. Okay.
You are forgetting that you are in UK. It's not like that in Ghana.
No.
So the cross networks, for instance, it's very expensive calling, like over here. Now you can call any network when it comes to the mobile networks. There are so many things they can do to liberalize the system, but they need, like you say, a proper identification system in place, and then they will make things easier. Once because the ID system is very, very good, and I hope that it will lead to a proper electoral register as well. That's another very important bit, because I remember prior to this election, it was one of the main topics we were more or less every day discussing, and we were wondering what are we going to do. MPP took the matter to court. Everyone was saying that there was going to be rigging and everything.
I just remember something. I remember when we first discussed this topic. There was we were trying to find out if they were going to link the ID system with the addressing system, because without doing both, or without doing one before the other, it will be cost 90. If you don't have a proper address system, how do you do the ID?
Well,
are they doing? Steve, you probably have more information. Are they doing the addressing system at the same time?
Yeah, the information that I have on that one is that they are trying to put all of them together, so that people will be able to link people to their addresses. Yeah. So
but what they are saying is that you can log onto the internet and then request your ID card.
No, that's fine. I mean,
but which address are you requesting the ID card to? Which address?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm hoping that they sort out the address system, because it will be of no use.
Last time I read it, even at work, I saw street naming and numbering projects in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
And one of the main companies here, Alliance Services, and the company is helping them to do it.
I would prefer. If they are unable to meet the deadline for October, I'll prefer it if they move it forward and get the address system done at the same time.
No, it's not like October that everybody is going to get the ID card.
Oh no, that's when the implementation starts. I know. That's when they will start rolling. No, but what I'm saying is, if you don't have a proper addressing system in place, then I mean, how are you going to roll this whole program out?
So what Steve is saying is that what is going to happen, or what will happen, is those who have their address system already sorted out, you can go and then ask for ID card. So if you have your address done, and it's likely that places like government departments or Accra, where there is proper demarcation, it shouldn't be a problem. You go to number 1 cantonments, all those places are numbered already. So they will start issuing IDs to all these places. And but you see, what the Professor Tiffany's announcement was that you can stay in your village and you can still order the card, and then within he says within a day or two you will receive your card.
Yeah, that's true.
So you will receive your card. I think what will happen,
those places with proper internet, the internet services are good, it will be within a week or so. And then those ways where the internet usage is quite poor, it will take about a month, which is quite okay because of the system that we have in that.
Okay, but
However,
in that case, does it mean that?
What they will do is that we'll have offices in the districts to help with that. So everything is not going to be at the regional capital, no.
I understand that, but coming back to the address, Steve, would that mean that even in the villages in other places outside Accra, would the addresses would have been done already? At the district assemblies, are they already doing the addresses?
If we remember, this street naming and this thing was started by the previous administration. They've done something already. So it's like it's not being completed properly. So all that they are trying to do is that all the loopholes, all the gaps that are in the system is what they are trying to fill. And then try to also make sure that everything is in order. So those places that they have been able to capture already, they are going to just issue those the addresses will be set up, everything is okay, then they issue your card. The places that they haven't set up, it's going to be an ongoing process because if there's no way they will be able to finish it within 12 months. No.
Well, this is yeah, Steve.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, Steve, I understand that, but this is the reason why, to me, I would have preferred if they do the address system, get it over and done with first, before we roll out the ID. Because what's going to happen is we want to.
There's no need to also delay when the thing. Some places have been done. That's the thing. You see, some places are ready to go. So why would you want to say that maybe you've done about 70% of the country? You are just sitting there waiting for the 30% before you roll it out. So you can run it concurrently. So as you are rolling out the ones that have been done, then the ones which are the gaps that you are filling it and then still working along the system. So there's no need to sit down and say, "Oh, we're going to wait for it."
Well, so I guess the question should be I guess the question, Steve. The question, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I guess the question should be, I mean, how long would it take for them to roll everything out? How long would the whole thing take before, we have a complete address system and a complete ID? Because if for example, for argument's sake, you start the program in October, by next year, majority is not done.
Yeah.
So what's the point? These cards will be in the system. The whole point of doing this ID is to synchronize or to sync all of them together.
Yeah.
And then cancel out the others that are already out there, so that it's easy for us to identify someone and then
Let me help you here. Addressing system will never be finished 100% because there will be new buildings anytime soon. So if you go and put up your new building, you are here, you will not go and put up your new building. When you finish building, then your building will be given an address. So under no circumstance will addressing system will finish. So it's going to be when they roll it out, they are going to set up offices to be able to continue with new ones that are coming in. Some places will be demolished, we have to put up new buildings and all those. So it's going to be an ongoing process. So if you move into a new property, then you are also going to be, because you are living somewhere else, then the office will make sure your new address will be given to you and then attached to your ID card. So after the addresses, I don't think that is going to be finished. I don't think they are going to do it under NPT alone. They have to make it a very proper policy. Because this country, they've been doing this addressing system since this country started, and they are still doing it. So if you want to do it and do it properly, you have to set it up as an office. It becomes a job that people will do their daily job, they go about it. They have officers who will do all the work every day, all the time, changing the addresses, updating it, and then the ones which
are done. I mean, don't you agree that the first step should be maybe street naming? And then you get the address from the
street. The street naming has started long ago. I think they finished that.
Richard, I told you, you have done street naming. I know a colleague who worked with a company in Netherlands who was part of that project. They've done street naming.
So what percent, in terms of percentage, what percentage have they done, I mean, as far as the street naming is concerned? You know. So that's what I'm saying. So it will be easier. It will be easier. Steve, you talked about someone putting up a new structure. So if the street that you are putting up your structure is already given a name, it's easy for you to be given an address based on where your structure is.
Listen, let me explain it so that I get it. For example, where you live in Bedford, you see, if that street somebody puts up a new building there, you have already numbered the properties there. So maybe the person puts up another one, and your last property there is maybe number 10. The person will get number 11.
Yeah.
So you just assign an address to that person on that street. So the same thing is, you see, it's been done elsewhere. So they are just going to study some places where it's been done and then bring it to Ghana and then we customize it to.
The problem with the Ghana one is that people build indiscriminately. They don't.
That one is not a big issue.
Why?
That one is not a big issue because wherever you put the way you want to assign an address to a house, when you go and the buildings are being placed indiscriminately, at least there's a road that leads to where they live. Maybe the road goes in there and then there's no more for cars can go in there. It's just pedestrian walk. So you just attach those properties to the road. So maybe one Biasi road.
Okay.
Because the Biasi is the main road that goes into those properties.
Okay, so all the properties around that place will be Biasi road, and then you just give them
there that you cannot drive into onto that road. So as soon as you get there, you just walk into this, and then you are looking for number 1. So however you have numbered them, when you get there, you see number 1.
So does that also mean that somewhere in the future we will do away with the PO box system,
of
and then
course,
go with the proper address and one like you do here?
Some of these things, one is doing it is one, and then also bringing people up to speed. Because when we were in Ghana, we didn't know addressing system like we have here. But when we came here, we saw it, and then gradually it took maybe a week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, and then we got to know how the things are done.
But you see, what, Steve?
The same way.
Steve.
Let me land on this. The same way, our people, the majority of them haven't had the opportunity to know about this addressing system before. So it's going to be more of an education as well. Because nobody will have number 1 on their house number. But if you go to an office and you ask for the address, you will regret it. But what that you don't know, the principles are so energy. What will you say? So people will need to kind of be addressed with it, except that the young ones can pick it. But
you see, I agree with you, but I'm still baffled at something. Before we go ahead, I want us to move on to we are now in the issues where we can choose what we want to talk about. But before we get there, you see, we seem to be following the footsteps of, say, a country like Britain or the developed countries. Whatever they have in the system is exactly what we are doing. When we want to do roads, we come and hire a contractor from here to come and do the road. When we want to do address system, it will take us a long time. Then we start getting there. We come and get people from here to go and do it. Our educational system is still based on them. They bring out the new mobile phone. It's in Ghana. All the best cars, they are in Ghana. People are buying good houses. The way the houses should be built and everything, we are importing everything there. The only thing we are not importing is the mindset. That is what I don't understand. Why? Why are we not taking the mindset? We are happy to take every good thing that they have here physically. But when it comes to the mindset, we say, no, we are still Ghanaians. Steve, can you explain this to me?
Mindset has to do with people's culture. And then our culture, we've been brought up for us to believe and accept that if you are Mike, you are my brother. I have to make sure that everything that Mike does, whether good or wrong, I support you. Whatever I do, even does anything good or wrong, you support me. That's the mindset that we have.
It's not only that is just one part of it, but the other aspect of it too is that we've also been made to believe that anything that comes from the West, Britain, UK, France is the best. So
I didn't really want to go there. I just wanted us to concentrate on ourselves in that context.
No, I just want to be specific on the issue I'm talking about. We are happy to import so many things back home, and people are happy to take it. For instance, take two phones, one from Britain, one from Ghana, and they'll quickly pick the one from Britain. But when you start telling them the British way of thinking, they don't want to accept that. That is what I don't understand. Why?
Yes, nice.
He is happy to have the British phone because, oh, this is German technology. But he is not happy to pick up the work ethic of the German that helped him produce that technology. Do you get the point I'm making?
Yeah, to something. And that is a basic reason. You said that our books, whatever we are learning, everything is based on this. So if you are learning things based on their system, why would you want to have a different mind?
No, I'm saying that no. Hold on. You see, we accept everything. No, we accept everything, including even worshiping God. We worship God more than them. But yet, our way of doing things, my brother, lawlessness, okay? We do everything nicely. We love our neighbor. We want to go to heaven. And yet, when your brother steals something and they say, Juloe, you don't pause to think that, hey, Juloe, he's a human being like me. What has he stolen? We have a police. So that's why in the Western world, when you steal, no one will beat you. They will just arrest you and wait for police to come and take you. But the black man will want to beat you.
No, because their laws work. Because they know once you're taken to the police station, their laws will work to the latter. You won't. For example, if you steal something, if you're arrested by the police, no one will just take some small money from you and let you go scot-free. If you need to be taken to court, you be taken to court. If it's your first offense, and then, depending on what the judge wants to do.
Oh, Steve, are you gone?
If it's the first offense,
Steve, are you there?
The judge will decide what to do with you. It's not the same in Ghana. Yeah. There are always a lot of shortcuts.
Listeners, you are still tuned into Crossfire on Africanna Radio. It's about 10 minutes to 11. Let's move on to the next matter whilst we wait for Steve to come back. What's his name? The Minister for Information. He's Mustafa. He says government ministers have not been paid till now. Is that right?
Is it right for him to say, or
no, for them not to be paid till now? What is going on in that country?
Well,
January, February, March, April, May, 5 months down the line.
The first thing that comes to mind is this: if all these ministers, I'm sure they all know about the difficulty that we have at the moment.
What difficulty?
How our economy, what they inherited, how difficult things are. They want to put things in place first. They want to satisfy those who need it more than themselves. If they want to deal with those first, and then deal with this afterwards, because there isn't enough money in the system.
No, what is the reason? You see, we should look at the reason why. Oh, Steve is on. Cut him so that he can call back.
Let me send a message. Maybe he's got another call.
Okay, that's why. All right, let's leave it then. He'll come back. Yeah. I don't understand this. You see, this idea, it's been going on in Ghana for a very long time. A teacher is posted to go and work. The teacher goes to his workstation to work. His salary does not come. Instead of him stopping and then asking that, look, pay me or else I'm not working, he says, no, I have to work. They say, oh, keep working, we'll give you your arrears. And then he will work for 1 year, 2 years. And then when the time comes for him to be paid, they'll give him just 3 months.
Let me ask you a question.
What
was the reason that Mustafa Hamid said? What was the reason that behind why their salary has been delayed for 5 months? Did he give any reason?
Mustafa Hamid hasn't. Speaking on hot issues, Mr. Hamid noted working without salary has been difficult for them, and it is not a very good phenomenon in our country. He hasn't given any reason. There's no reason here. I don't have any reason here. Okay, I don't have any reason here. But they've been working. Why? No one knows. We don't know why. I really don't understand. It can't be justified under any circumstance.
It should not be. That's what I'm saying. I need to understand
Okay,
why they have.
it can't be. This is a recipe for corruption. Seriously, recipe for corruption. Either this man comes out to tell me that, look, me, I'm working for free. I'm not drawing any salary. I know that the president, when he first went to parliament during Rawlings' era, he was using his own car. He wasn't drawing fuel. He didn't. They even built what do you call it? MP's estates in Parakou, Sakumoro. He didn't go and take any. Okay, so now we were even told that he still uses his own car. I don't know whether this car saga that they're talking about, they brought it. So that's a different matter. But for you to say that, yes, I'm a minister, this is my appointment letter, this is my salary, I'll be paid maybe 20,000 or whatever amount of cedis every month. And then when the salary, the time comes, I've done my job, I'll go into my account, pay, zero, nothing. And you are scared to go and ask the chief of staff who appointed you or the president who appointed you because you will lose the appointment as a minister. No, it can't be. And the information minister comes and say that, yes, we haven't been paid. It's not a good feeling. And what they are doing is that he's not equating it to the teacher, saying that, well, others are going to, teachers are going to, so they can, if politicians are going through, it's understandable the politician can feel the pain that teachers and nurses go through. It should not be encouraged at all because they, politicians, have access to money. They have access to, I mean, the things they can do when someone is hungry. So how are they surviving?
I totally agree with you.
How are they surviving?
I agree with you. I'm still reading the story. I'm trying to find out.
Because if you, it means either they are not committing themselves 100% to do their job. If you are a minister, okay, if you are the attorney general, you are not being paid, and you are a lawyer to your firm, you have to decouple yourself from that firm because you are not the government, what do you call it, lawyer. And you say, when the time comes, I'm not being paid. You have your kids' school fees to pay. You have your own self to look after. What kind of situation is this? Hey, Ghana. Someone Nigeria will say, Ghana man say money no be enough, but yet he survives.
No, but I mean, it doesn't really make sense. I don't get it. That's why I'm interested in finding out why they haven't been paid. I really need to know why. Because
Steve.
Guys, yeah,
the minister said they haven't been paid. Can you tell us why? Finance minister.
They have not been paid because of what?
I don't know. Yeah. Mustafa Hamid is saying they've not been paid.
Yeah, I've seen that news item, but I don't want to believe that they want to tell us, oh, they are being generous, they want to be selfless to the state. That will not be an answer.
No. Wait a minute. If they say they want to be selfless, meaning they are not taking salaries, that's a different thing from saying I haven't been paid.
No, it's like it's kind of, oh, we are here to serve, so we are working. When the state doesn't have the money, so we want to do the work. That's when the money comes, they pay us.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about.
You see,
so how are they surviving now?
Yes. You see, that's what I'm saying. That I don't want to believe that is one of the reasons why they are saying that they are not being paid. Because if we allow them to go along that tangent, it won't take a long time that the people who are receiving peanuts, their salaries too will be delayed, and then they will reference them that, oh, even the ministers were able to sacrifice their salary for 5 months. And so we don't want that thing at all. If you have decided not to take your salary, it's up to you. We should come to a system where people work, and then at the end of the month, even if they need just a penny, give it to them. That's all. I've come to believe in a very system. We don't coerce people to do something. Because if you're a minister and then you are working and you are not being paid and you think you are feeling the pinch, go for your money.
Or resign.
Has forced you to be a minister.
Or resign, isn't it?
Has forced you to be a minister because
thank you.
If we don't take that, people, I know MPP people will come and say that yes, even our ministers started working and then for the first 5 months they didn't receive their salary. It's not a class. It's not a class at all. Because although they have not received their salary, they may be taking allowances.
What is the difference between allowance and salary? Please wait. What's the difference between allowance and salary?
No, that's what they have in Ghana because they
hey.
That when they were not being paid, when the nurses were not being paid in the previous administration, they said that they were giving them allowances.
Where allowances meant allowances for what?
Allowances for because your salary is not, if you are being paid maybe 1,000 Ghana and then they say that they give you 200 Ghana at the end of the month, they call that one allowance, and then 1,000 Ghana will be paid later on. We have a system where sometimes you can't just get the way they name things. They just do it for that.
It's just a way of stealing, isn't it? Corruption, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a way of being corrupt, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah. So for all you know, in this case, they are saying they are not being paid, but they will get their fuel, they get their cars fueled up, they live in government bungalows, they feed as well. So what are they telling us? They shouldn't come and make noise. They should make sure they pay them. They should pay them so that they don't use that one as a reference point to anybody. That way, even the ministers didn't take their money for 5 months. So you should also sacrifice. Sacrifice is not force.
I totally agree. We should not hear people make.
I don't understand why we do this to ourselves. Something very simple and then straightforward.
No, this is why we need to be. We should be more interested in knowing why they haven't been paid. It's not about me. I'm interested in knowing why they've not been paid. We need to know.
So are you saying you don't believe it?
It is not.
I'm not saying I don't believe it. I want to know exactly.
You see, Mr. Fahmi is the information minister. If this is not propaganda, why didn't you tell us why it is not been paid?
Exactly.
And just coming to throw it in the air that ministers have not been paid for 5 months. What do we get about it for? It's not propaganda. They just want to use it at some point and tell you that our ministers were not paid. And because of that, you too should sacrifice. And sacrifice, there's nowhere in the Bible or in the Quran that sacrifice is compulsory. Sacrifice will come out of you. So if you don't take it, MPP people will use it as a yardstick. Oh, our ministers were not paid, so you too pay. And then they'll be sitting there talking nonsense.
And they'll be kidding themselves because one thing is for sure. If they come back later and then try to use that as justification, we know what to do. We always prefer, because I mean, there are a lot of things that's happened. The president said he doesn't want us to be, he wants us to be citizens but not spectators. So we won't just sit down. Steve is
it's just interesting and sad, Ghana. Things happen and you ask yourself, what kind of life is this that I haven't been paid 5 months, and you are sitting there, you are happy that you haven't been paid.
Hello?
Yes, Steve.
Yeah.
You're sitting there, you haven't been paid for 5 months.
No, I've seen that and I decided not to even worry my head about it. It's not anything that we should glorify.
Anyway, yes, the Chief Justice. Let's end up with our Chief Justice. Let's end up.
I'll join you guys later.
Okay.
All right, Steve.
All right, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Let's end up with a new Chief Justice. It's 11 o'clock, so we have about 5 minutes to wrap up and then we'll finish. What do you expect from her?
I watched some of Verton, and I must admit that I was quite impressed with the way she answered her questions. You know, sometimes people were even asking questions that they knew will come to, was already in court or will come to court anytime soon.
Okay.
So they just wanted her opinion. So some anybody could use it as basis.
What case was that?
No, I'm just saying the general one. Some of the questions that they were asking.
Okay.
Majority concentrated on the Muntia case, Muntia 3 case.
Yeah.
And then how they were able to use their contempt in such a way that manner that they wanted. And I mean, there's no doubt about her credentials, and there's no doubt that she's got integrity, and that's one thing. And she's also bold. If you look at her judgments in the past, I mean, she's not the kind that always takes the popular, She lets the law do its talking. She doesn't just follow suit with what we want to hear. Law, and you hear a lot of. If you recall that Jake's case against Okujetua Blakwa.
Against Jake, she sat on it.
No, she was one of those that minority. Those Okujetua Blakwa lost.
Okay, but she sided with Okujetua Blakwa.
Yeah, she sided with them because she doesn't understand why. That whole Banglo thing. By the proper law-wise, I mean, it shouldn't be allowed, regardless of whether or not people belong to the same political party, and for that matter, should follow blindly. I mean, so far so good. I believe this is a wonderful. I have too much expectation for her, and with an independent mind, because I mean, her case is a bit unique. In Ghana, we like to politicize everything about who made her the Chief Justice, who brought her into the Supreme Court, and all that. And then sometimes the way...
Well, she tried to diffuse that by during her Thanksgiving inauguration. She mentioned... She linked so many major events in her life to all the 4 presidents.
Exactly. So that was a very, very smart move, for everyone to think that. Because that's the thing. Once you are made a Chief Justice, you have become Article 71.
Yeah,
you should not.
I always tell you that I don't have a problem with who appoints who or who appoints
exactly.
who.
Once
the issue is the person who has been appointed, their integrity to do the right thing, especially when you are an Article 71 holder, because you cannot easily be removed.
Exactly.
So, you appoint me, that's it, stuff it. I'm going to do what I think is right for the nation.
Exactly.
So the mentality should be rather, although you appointed me, you were just the person who had to appoint me. So it is not you as an individual, but I see you as the position. The presidency appointed me, but I was appointed during your presidency. So you, the president, did that. Whether you had personal reasons for appointing me or not, I'm only here to uphold the law or to do my job. So if my job means that I have to tell you that, Mr. President, you are wrong, or I have to jail your son because I have to jail.
Not to digress from this particular subject we're talking about. I was wondering how come Chief Justice is vetted? Yeah. President goes through a rigorous campaign. The same with the vice, and then Speaker of Parliament. Not vetted really.
Yeah.
But how come, like, Chairman of the Electoral Commission is not vetted in Parliament? Like the others?
Who said they are not vetted? They are. Yeah.
Charlotte Osei was vetted. When?
She went to Parliament.
When was that?
I think she went to Parliament. They all go through. Well, the High Court judges are not vetted. So it isn't all of them. I think the Constitution specifically gives some of them. But so Charlotte Osei's one will be in consultation with the Council of State. But vetting, no, I don't think she was vetted.
Yeah, that's right. What I'm saying. So
she wasn't. No, the reason why she is vetted because Charlotte Osei, is she in line to be to become, say, a ruler of Ghana? If the Chief Justice is not there, who takes over?
No, we only have the president, the vice, the speaker, and then the Chief Justice.
Only 4. So the Constitution envisages that in the unlikely event it's not going to happen that all 4 will not be available at the same time.
I guess
possible.
I guess if all four are not available, the next in line, if you look at it critically, might be the first deputy Speaker of Parliament.
Why?
Well, because
why not the electoral commissioner?
Why the electoral commissioner?
Yeah.
No, why the electoral commissioner? Because I'm looking at it from the basis that you have you are choosing from the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. That's where all these four are chosen from. Okay. And they are the three main branch of our government. So if the president has got a vice in the executives, the Speaker of Parliament is alone from the judiciary, the Chief Justice alone from the Speaker from the legislature, the Chief Justice from the judiciary. So if for some reason all four are incapable of, then the next in line should be, even though it's not stated in the Constitution, so that's a very tricky one. But it should be, to me, the personal one, should be either the first deputy speaker or the next in line for the Chief Justice. But then again, we don't have any next in line for Chief Justice. We go by the seniorities. We go by if the Chief Justice
That's Atuguba. You know, he is the acting Chief Justice until this woman was up.
Yeah.
So it's just
no, but that's what I'm saying. So in terms of the judiciary, if the Chief Justice is not available, the most senior one is the next in line that takes over. So I don't see how the Electoral Commission can come in. You know, no. The Electoral Commissioner is not. To me personally, we that should have been part of the Constitution. Electoral Commissioner should be vetted. Inspector General of Police should have protection against tenure, security of tenure.
Yeah.
For IGP, Electoral Commissioner should be vetted. Because it doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, on that note, let me quickly commend the Ghana High Commission in UK. I went there, I think, 2-3 weeks ago to apply for my passport, to renew my passport.
The biometric one?
Yeah, the biometric one. And I was given an appointment window of 11 to 12
days.
No, 12 o'clock. 11.
Oh, the same day?
11 o'clock to 12 o'clock for me to submit my documents. I went in there, took the tickets. What they do is that you go in there, although you have an appointment period, a window, a time when you have to submit. When you get there, you still have to go and take a ticket.
Yeah.
And wait for you to be called. And so I got there at 11. Yes, my appointment was 11:30. I got there 11:30 exactly, took the ticket. I thought they were going to call me to come and submit straight away, not knowing that 11:30 to 12:30 is the any period within that time that you can be there. You're expected to be there. And then you take a ticket and wait to your turn. And it took me another 1 hour. So from 11:30 to 12:30, I got called. And they went through the papers, everything done. They took their money. Then I had to wait again for about 15 minutes to go into another room to get my biometrics taken. And whilst there, they asked me whether, because where I was coming from, very far away, so they asked me whether I wanted it to be posted. I said, yeah, is that done? They said, yes. And they gave me, I went there, when was that? I went there on the 4th of June, no, 31st of May. And I was given 20th June
as appointment day.
As the date the passports will come back. I should come and pick them up. But when I went in there, they said it can be posted. It came last week, way before the 20th. Everything intact. So I think that's a sign of something good that we have to commend. But a gentleman raised a petition online that he is calling for the reduction of the, because it's just 5 years. I don't understand why they still do that. Why will you issue a passport out for 5 years, adult passport, it's not a child passport, but you still charge this exorbitant fee? Renewal is £180.
That's not right. I've
new
thought,
passport's about £200.
when I last renewed my passport, I couldn't go beyond. I didn't have the full 5 years at the time because they were going to roll up
the
biometric
biometric,
one.
yeah.
So I think mine expires sometime this year. So I have to go to them again to renew.
And that will be another 5 years, and within 5
So
years
that
it's
makes
gone.
sense. Why 5 years?
I don't
This is how
understand.
they make a lot of money from us. I know, that question was asked. I think the foreign minister, they asked that question when she went for vetting.
And what did she say?
I need to dig through what she said.
So is it universal? Is it also in Ghana as well? Everywhere 5 years, or just
I'm
here?
not sure if Ghana is 5 years as well. Yeah, in Ghana it was 10 years.
I remember it was 10 years. Even
yeah.
over here, it was 10 years.
Yeah. So that's an issue. It's not about the cost. We need to. It's not always about the cost. It has to be about the years that you're given. If you want me to pay £200 for 10 years, I don't really mind. Rather than pay and then have to go through, the time that you spent there, the hassle and all
tell
that.
me about it.
Yeah, it's amazing. After 5 years, you have to go through the same process again. And
it is worrisome. But I hope they will do something about it. The guy presented a petition, Ike, something, I've forgotten the other name. He did a petition, online petition, and I signed it, and he presented it to the president when he came in to London. Yeah. So the president was going to look into the matter. So reduce the fee, and then, but I think the processing is not too bad, but they can streamline it in a way that it will be much more efficient. The 1.5 hours, some others were complaining bitterly because they had been there for 2 hours, because they had that information that, look, if you get there early, the earlier you get there, they will do it for you. But when you get there, you just take the ticket. You will be sitting there, now. People are thinking it's just who you know over there and all that.
So when you say you take the ticket, so for instance, are they numbered, the tickets?
Yes.
So
there is a thing there, someone will call
like
you.
they do when they are the blood. I think
when you're doing your blood test,
test,
you take your thing and then they'll call number.
So it follows the pattern. No one skips.
Oh yeah, it follows the pattern to some extent, but when it comes to going to do the biometric bit, because once your details have been checked, whether it's a new passport or a renewal, once that is done, you will be asked to go and submit your biometrics at a different place in a different room. So you will have to wait to be called. They will give you another ticket again. So that's the second ticket, and that ticket will be called. Now, the quicker it is and how fast or how soon you get that done will depend on how accurate you complete your form. So your form will have to go up to some big boss up there who will have to scrutinize it and make sure that the information you've put on it, you say you are a Ghanaian, yes you are, and all that. And I think one other thing I need to mention, I'm happy they are doing well, but the details they put on the form, what they are asking you to put on, some of the forms, when you are when you are filling it completely online, it's so cumbersome.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow you to, like, you can't move on, because the information they are asking you address with postcode, when we are not in, what do you call it, Ghana address with postcode. And it's easy to predict that there are so many people whose parents will not be from Ghana, will not be from Britain, they will be in Ghana. So the form should be looked at again. They ask for telephone numbers, and I'm trying to put on, what number do I put? They want my mother's telephone number. If you don't put that in, it won't go. So what number do I put? Do I put my mother's number in Ghana? Ghana numbers are different from our numbers over here. They are not the same in terms of the quantity of the numbers that we have.
Oh, so did they provide enough room for you to be able
No,
to
they will provide enough room, but if I put my number here, it works. If I put a number that is in Ghana, in Ghana, if I'm putting Ghana number, what number am I going to put? Am I going to put with the Ghana code alone 2, 4?
233.
I have to put 233. That will be too many numbers over there.
That will be too many numbers over there.
Yeah, so you can put the correct number there. You get a point.
Oh, no, that will be very serious then. So
yeah, the system will reject it.
The system allows only, I take it that maybe you can choose to ignore the postcode. I mean, the code, country code.
You can ignore it, but still, you still, because the Ghana numbers are 7.
Yeah, they are 7.
There are 7 numbers in Ghana. Okay, so with 7 numbers, it's not enough for
and
you.
How many spaces are provided?
No, the system allows you to it wants 11 numbers, like here.
Yeah, so
because it's been designed like here.
Yeah, you can put 7 numbers.
It won't work. Where do you put the rest? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So Ghana numbers are 11. You have 7 in Ghana.
Well, so if you add the 233, that would be 10.
You add a 233, that would be 10.
10, yeah.
And then you add a 0, so 233 0
no,
2
plus
4.
Plus 233.
It won't work. I struggled at that level, so I had to put all UK numbers. Everywhere I had to put UK numbers. That is what I mean. Because
that's definitely something that
it's something that they need to look at, to tweak all these things to make it proper.
So
when you are completing it.
Because if you have to put all UK numbers, that means you have to make up some numbers.
You have to make up a number. It's not right. Okay. In my case, I was renewing my passport. But if you are a new person who is applying for a Ghanaian passport the first time, or you are renewing and you don't know anyone here, you have a kid here. Let's say you want to apply for a passport for your child over here. Or a child has come from Ghana and you want to apply for it, they've lost their passport, so they don't have a record of that passport with them over there. But my renewal passport was done by the same Ghana High Commission here, so it's not something that it was issued by them.
Yeah.
Do you get the point? So they have the details there, so it shouldn't be a problem. Do you understand? But if they don't have that details with them and you are just going there to renew, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, totally understand.
And so many people were making mistakes in completing the forms and all that.
Obviously, they
so
will make a mistake. Because
when it gets
if
there,
you are making if you are making I don't get it. Even if you wanted to, I don't see why. If you want someone to put a telephone number, the number could be Ghana one or a UK number. So make enough room. If they want to put Ghana one, then fine. If they want to put
so create Ghana number there, exactly. Make room for Ghana. Then you know the Ghana number. If it's UK number, put UK number. This is something they can.
The way they've done it, from what you're saying, did you have to put the UK code number or just the UK?
No, just the UK number. I didn't have to put in the UK code. Just the UK number. Anyway, listeners. So that's something they can work on and improve on the system.
I hope
bring the money down. But all in all, I think it's not too bad. I wasn't disappointed because I thought I was going to spend the whole day over there. I was dreading it when I went there and people were lamenting. But
the new commissioner to Isaac says
no.
Oh, sorry,
Papa. And I think this has been there even before the new commissioner came in. So if he also comes to look at the system, he can make it a bit more efficient for all of us. Thank you so much, listeners. We thank you all for those of you who are following on Facebook. We didn't see most of you today. I think perhaps it's on a different one.
Yeah.
And thank you to Steve. And we thank our producer and technical director, Mr. D. Yes, we'll come your way again with another edition of Crossfire next week, I believe. All things being equal, and hopefully by the grace of the divine selection we will be alive. Thank you and good night.